Big date coming up with changes to Montgomery County taxes. Don't let your clients be on the hook for thousands more dollars. Kim Stepanuk here at Allied Title and Escrow from your attorney team, here to provide you some updates about what you can expect on October 1st. Don't let your buyers or sellers get caught with additional taxes that they're not aware of. Effective October 1, 2023, there's a big change coming to Montgomery County with regard to the recordation taxes. As you know, there's two types of taxes that we have to deal with in real estate. First are those real property taxes. Those are the semi-annual tax payments that you see moving forward even after your transaction closes in perpetuity. After that, though, as part of the transaction, we do have those recordation and transfer taxes. At least that's what we call them in Maryland and DC. If you're a Virginia agent, you may know them as the grantor taxes or the grantee taxes. So let's talk about the changes you can expect to see on October 1st in Montgomery County. Montgomery County is shifting to a tiered system for collecting recordation taxes as part of the transaction. Here's what you need to know. For any properties over $1 million, it's going to be a significant difference, but it impacts properties at all different prices. If the property value is over $1 million, you're going to be taxed at the rate of $22.70 per thousand of consideration. That's the sales price. Prior to that, it was $8.90 for the first $500,000 and $13.50 per thousand thereafter. That was regardless of the sales price. So the bigger thing to take note of is now it's going to be a tiered system. Reach out to us if you have more questions about the tiered system. Now let's jump into a few examples. For a consideration price of $1.5 million, let's show you what that looks like. If you're closing on Friday, September 29th, the recordation tax is going to be $17,060. If you're closing on Monday, October 2nd, the recordation tax is going to be $24,710. That's a difference of $7,650 for the parties. As you know, with the G-Cart contract, that's usually split equally between the buyers and sellers. If the taxes are split 50-50, that's a difference of $3,825 per buyer and per seller. If the property is valued at $5 million, here's another example. If the transaction's closing on September 29th, the recordation tax is going to be $62,500. If the transaction is closing on Monday, October 2nd, the recordation tax is going to be $105,050. As you know, again, that's also going to typically be split equally between the parties. Don't let you find yourself in a situation, though, where the parties are unaware of this change. All right, here's a few touch points or takeaways for you as our agents. Right now, if you have any buyers or sellers in the pipeline and they're thinking or they've been thinking about buying or selling property, now is the time to act so they don't have to pay that additional recordation tax. There's still enough time right now for them to go under contract and close before October 1st so they don't have to pay these additional taxes. Show them your expertise by providing this additional information so that they can make the most out of their transaction. I also don't recommend scheduling at 4 p.m. on Friday, September 29th, your closing. As you know, there can be delays, even unanticipated delays from the lender, last-minute clearing of underwriting requirements. So make sure you get scheduled earlier in the week. I don't even really recommend closing Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday of that week because we don't yet know how Montgomery County is going to handle this change. There's been a lot of changes in turnover employment over there in the finance division as well as in the land records, and we want to make sure you have a smooth closing and we don't have to reach out asking for additional taxes after the transaction. So if you have a transaction closing at the end of September, make sure to get them scheduled quickly. I would suggest Monday or Tuesday. If you have to close Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday of that last week in September, schedule much earlier in the day so there's enough time to get on record or at least submit the documents to the land records before they close on Friday. Don't let your transaction be a test case for how Montgomery County's finance division is going to handle this. This is a significant change and the first time in many years that there's been this drastic of an increase in recordation taxes. So make sure to get scheduled early. If your client has agreed as part of the contract to pay any portion of the recordation and transfer taxes, make sure you're informing your client about what that looks like if you're closing in the month of September. Talk to them in advance about what happens if the transaction is delayed into October. Reach out to the loan officers, educate them about the process if they're not sure as well. That way we can make sure we have accurate disclosures and we don't have any surprises in your transaction. It may make sense to negotiate into the contract a provision about fee shifting. What does that mean? If, for example, you're representing the seller and the buyer causes delays as part of the transaction, Should the buyer be on the hook for those additional recordation taxes, that's something you can speak with your client about and negotiate into the contract. The reverse is also true if you're representing a buyer. What happens if there's seller-related issues and under the contract's automatically extended into October to give the seller enough time to clear those title issues? Speak with your client about these issues up front, negotiate that information into the contract, and that way you can have a smooth transaction moving forward and we'll all enjoy the fall season in October.